feel, Razor. I'm starving.
Tokka, you're the only friend that...
Tokka from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Explored. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are a fan favorite. These anthropomorphic, crime-fighting turtles have faced off against many iconic villains, but some are truly memorable. One such villain is Tokka, from the infamous duo Tokka and Rahzar, a pair of villainous mutants. Tokka is a mutant snapping turtle, with some iterations even giving him some alligator-esque features. While Tokka debuted a long time back all the way in the 80s, he was formally introduced to the larger Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles mythos in 1991 in the movie Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2: The Secret of the Ooze. This fan-favorite villain returned to the limelight with series writer-artist Sophie Campbell revealing the cover of TMNT number 115, featuring good old Tokka in late 2020. What makes this character so cool and unique? Well, keep watching to find out. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like the content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you, and let's begin.
Hey, look! Someone left their dinner for us!
His appearance in the 1987 animated series Explored. Tokka appears with his partner in crime Rahzar in the 1987 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles animated series episode titled Dirk Savage Mutant Hunter. This is Tokka's first ever appearance in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles universe, and he largely appears as a goofy mutant who keeps getting into trouble and fights with the Turtles. Tokka's character was voiced by Rob Paulsen for this episode, and while his appearances are few and fleeting, they definitely made an impression on viewers due to his comedic element. At the very beginning of the episode, we watched the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as they try and track down two mutants causing havoc in the city. These two chaotic mutants happen to be none other than Tokka and his buddy Rahzar. It turns out that ever since the villain Shredder has released a mutagen in the city zoo, the city has been plagued with many mutated animals hounding and harassing citizens and destroying both public and private property. Tokka and Rahzar were also two such animals, a wolf and a snapping turtle who mutated due to the mutagen, turning into humanoid versions of the original animals and developing the ability to speak. These two mutants embarked on a quest to find food, and if you ask us, what a better place to find some yummy delicacies than the mall. The scene then shifts to the Crystal Palace Mall, a mall which was in absolute chaos because the two hungry mutants decided to break in and head straight to a restaurant in there. To find some food for their hungry bellies, Tokka and Rahzar scare people away and eat from the various restaurants and buffets, but their feast doesn't last for too long as our heroes show up. There is a funny little scene here where the Turtles express their disappointment of not being unique because here was another mutant snapping turtle. However, they ask Tokka and Rahzar to stop their rampage, but when they refuse to do so, the Turtles are forced to fight them. The two mutants are obviously outnumbered in the fight, and Tokka gets caught because he is clearly the worst fighter of the two. However, his friend Rahzar saves him and causes enough distraction and destruction that allows for them to escape. The Turtles fail to capture the two of them, although this isn't the last time they appear in the episode. As the story unfolds, we are introduced to a man named A.J. Howard, a multi-billionaire who hates mutants. Howard announces on live television that he is taking it upon himself to solve the mutant problem in the city. In an effort to do so, he hires a mercenary named Dirk Savage to hunt and kill all of the mutants because apparently the mutants were scaring people, destroying things, and causing chaos. This in turn was affecting employment and investment, causing both to go down in the city. He even started an anti-mutant hotline asking people to dial 555 no mutants to tip off the assassin for hire, Dirk Savage, and alert him about any lurking mutants. Dirk Savage seemed to be the right person for the job since he was a mercenary who believed that all mutants were evil. He was also ignorant to the fact that some of them were good souls, such as the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, who fought crime while others were bad. Dirk was simply an ignorant hired gun. However, he was a skilled assassin, and the Turtles knew that they had to be careful once they saw the announcement on live TV. Multi-billionaire A.J. Howard, however, had ulterior motives. He actually wanted the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles captured, even though they were good mutants. This is because he wanted them to do his bidding. Why, you may ask? It turns out that he was actually a giant mutant slug, and he wanted all the mutants in the city to be captured so that he could use them to form his private mutant army. As the Turtles would learn later in the episode, he had become a mutant slug due to an accident in his genetics lab, and now wanted to rule over the humans, making mutants the leading race in the city. Dirk Savage, who was not aware of Howard's true intentions, was following his orders and tracked down the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. He attacks them in the sewers, and the Turtles try to talk to him and make him understand that they are the good ones, but to no avail. Dirk says the only good mutant is a captive one and proceeds to kick ass. He is extremely strong and uses his weapons to fight the Turtles expertly. At the end of the battle, he manages to capture 2 out of 4 Turtles, Leonardo and Michelangelo, leaving Raphael and Donatello to sort out the mess created by A.J. Howard. In the scene after Leonardo and Michelangelo's capture, we see Tokka and his friend Razar once again. And this time as well, the 2 mutants are out in the search for food. We watch as Tokka and Razar track down some delicious smelling food and begin eating it. Not for one moment do they find a full buffet spread in the middle of a dark alley suspicious. Lo and behold, a yummy spread turns out to be a trap, and Dirk Savage captures the glutinous Tokka easily while Razar runs away. Dirk loads Tokka into the back of his van and drives off to deliver the mutant to Howard, while Razar vows to get revenge on Dirk since he proclaims that Tokka was his only friend in the world. At the end of the episode, Howard's dirty secret is exposed, and in an effort to get Dirk Savage onto their side to help defeat Howard, Donatello calls on the anti-mutant hotline and tricks Dirk Savage into coming to them. Once Dirk reaches their location, Donatello and Raphael confront him to try and get him on their side, when Razar shows up to take revenge for his one and only friend, Tokka. The Turtles, however, help defeat Razar and is unsure if the 2 friends are even reunited at the end of the episode. Although we can speculate that they are reunited because the incident moves Dirk and finally makes him realize that there are good mutants too. In the end, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles defeat Howard with Dirk's help, and all the captured mutants are released. Since Tokka was also captured by Dirk, it is most likely that he too was released and found his way back to his partner. So, by and large, Tokka served as comic relief in this episode, and his fighting abilities or strength was never focused upon. Super villain Tokka in the movie Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze. The movie Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze is based on the Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird comic book series of the same name. It is the second film in the original trilogy and the sequel to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles written by Todd W. Langen and directed by Michael Pressman. The movie recounts the exploits of the 4 Turtles, Leonardo, Donatello, Michelangelo, and Raphael, including Master Splinter. The villain is Shredder, who was last seen in the previous movie, reappears to retake control of the Foot Clan and seek retribution on the Turtles. It also famously sees the film debut of Tokka and Razar. The film explores and explains Tokka and Razar's origin story, and this is how it all began. The mutagen that turned the Turtles into the mutated crime-fighting team they are today was discovered by Shredder in the movie. After learning of its existence, Shredder knew that he had to get his hands on the mutagen so that he could use it to create a mutant army of his own. Thus, to apprehend Professor Jordan Perry, the chief scientist at Techno Global Research Industries, where the mutagen was created, Shredder dispatched his covert foot soldiers. The foot soldiers reached Techno Global Research Industries and apprehended the scientist responsible for the discovery of the mutagen. Shredder and his subordinates then managed to intimidate Dr. Perry into using his mutagen to create foot soldiers for Shredder, and Tokka and Razar were born. To fulfill Shredder's demands, Perry thus mutated an alligator snapping turtle and a gray wolf that had been taken from the Bronx Zoo. After a long period of waiting for the mutagen to work, Shredder and Perry began hearing noises. Lo and behold, out come 2 gigantic mutated animals. While it looked like Shredder had finally gotten his strongest and most lethal soldiers, this was actually not the case. Jordan had actually secretly altered the mutagen. because he did not want to be the one who created lethal monsters and put people in danger. And as a result of his alterations, the two mutants ended up having the intelligence of human infants. When Saki ordered the creatures to face him in battle to test their strength and teach them who their master was, the childish mutants misinterpreted the word master, thinking it meant mama, and hugged him instead. It was truly a comical sight watching a gigantic, menacing-looking wolf mutant and a snapping turtle mutant with a sharp beak and terrifying spikes on his back behaving like little children. This made Shredder terribly angry because he was hoping to use them as his mutant soldiers. Seeing that they had the intelligence of babies, he thought that they would be useless to him, and he ordered them to be destroyed. However, Jordan Perry had sympathy for them since, after all, they were his creation. To save them, he showed Saki how the mutants were completely obedient to him, saying that they would do whatever they were instructed to. Furthermore, as the two mutants were playing around in the junkyard, partially lifting a skid steer, Shredder also realized that they had great strength. This prompted Shredder to keep them alive because he believed that there was, after all, some use for the two unlikely mutants. The two mutants were far superior to the turtles in terms of physical power, despite having limited cognition. The turtles were unprepared for their first meeting with Shredder at Tatsu's junkyard headquarters, and they barely made it out alive while attempting to rescue Dr. Perry and free their brother Raphael. Tokka was stuck from the waist down in a manhole during the escape. He was taunted by Michelangelo, who also tickled the Snapper's clawed feet. The Foot met April O'Neil with a warning for the turtles: if they didn't meet the Foot at a building site next to the docks, Shredder would send Tokka and Razar back into Central Park. The Turtles and Splinter agreed that facing Shredder was the only option because so many people would be wounded. Professor had a strategy. With the aid of Donatello and Kino, Dr. Perry created an anti-mutagen that needed to be consumed in order to demutate Tokka and Razar. In the midst of a diversion during their second encounter at the construction site, Leonardo and Michelangelo deceived Tokka and Razar into ingesting the antidote. How did they achieve this? Well, they played on the two mutants' low intelligence and love for food. They disguised the concoction in a box of donuts and served it out to the two mutants as part of the ritual of the traditional pre-fight donut. With continuous prodding from the turtles, Razar and Tokka gobbled up some of the sweets. However, despite having an infant-like brain, Razar surprisingly recognized that something was amiss and used his claw to smash one of the donuts to reveal the anti-mutagen cube. Tokka and Razar were furious and threw Michelangelo with so much force that he crashed through a wall and into the Dock Shore Club, interrupting Vanilla Ice's crowded dance performance. Leonardo and Raphael, in the meantime, were defending themselves from the snapping attacks of Razar and Tokka as the final confrontation got underway. Dr. Perry advised them that the anti-mutagen was being slowed down by their frequent burping, and that carbon dioxide was required to hasten the demutation. The turtles hence used a few barrels they had found in the concert to knock their enemies to the ground and flat on their backs. Then they stuffed fire extinguishers into the mouths of the animals to deliver the necessary carbon dioxide to reverse the mutation. When the antidote finally kicked in, the two mutants assumed their original animal forms, a gray wolf and an alligator snapping turtle. We don't know what happened to them after that, but they were probably returned to the Bronx Zoo. From that point on, it was destined that these two idiotic super mutants fight the turtles in various storylines, since they made the ideal counterpoints to the turtles' wit and sarcasm. Razar and Tokka were first introduced in this film, which also established the broad strokes of their personalities. Since then, they have appeared in various TMNT-related media. As far as Tokka is concerned, he looks fairly menacing in the movies, and it's clear that he is extremely strong despite having the brain of an infant. The spikes on his back, along with his sharp beak mouth, go to show that he is both built for offensive and defensive attacks. Snapping turtles in general, as their name suggests, snap their beaks, and their bites can be incredibly painful, something that the other turtles narrowly escape. Tokka is also fiercely loyal and would blindly follow his master. This movie definitely played an extremely important role in making Tokka as famous as he is today. His introduction to comic books explored. As we already know, the mutagen that created the Ninja Turtles also produced Razar and Tokka in the movie Secret of the Ooze. They were Shredder's botched experiment that was meant to produce his ideal super soldiers. But rather than producing ruthless warriors as he had envisioned, he received two animals that were taken from the Bronx Zoo and mutated using the mutagen. Unfortunately, they turned out to be really stupid, since the scientists altered the mutagen to give them the intelligence of a human baby. As far as comic books are concerned, naturally, Tokka and his buddy Razar made an appearance in the comic versions of the movie they both made their debuts in. The two creatures have also appeared in other TMNT media after being introduced in the movie, although they have never appeared in the canonical comic book. That is, until recently. Everything changed with TMNT issue number 111. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles issue number 111 features the Turtles battling old Hobbs' spies in their brand new Mutant Town residence. The Turtles dispatch the spies quickly before they can do any harm. They then hang the captured spies from a lamppost near old Hobbs' corporate offices as a warning. In an effort to renegotiate their agreement, Hobb meets with Karai, a descendant of the villainous Shredder. Out of desperation, instead of more mutants, Hobb offers her weapons or even intelligence, but to no avail. Karai tells him that she cannot use anything else that Hobb deems to be of any worth apart from two specific beasts. It turns out that there are only two particular mutants that are of interest to Karai, and she wants those mutants to make up for the loss of the Weasels and the resources they spent to initiate them into the Foot Clan. She threats old Hobb with the wrath of the Foot Clan if he doesn't keep his end of the bargain. She believes that since the Weasels have long since vanished, Hobb has only one choice to fulfill his end of the bargain: to hand over the two special mutants to her. To unveil her choice for the role of her new Foot Clan initiates, Karai unlocks a foreboding double door adorned with warning messages. Who do you think was behind those double doors? Well, her choices are none other than the mutated snapping turtle and the wolf. The two enormous mutants hiding behind the door and the iron bars look eerily like Tokka and Razar, and fans immediately got the idea. Tokka, along with his buddy Razar, were finally being incorporated into TMNT canon. Thus, these two sinister-looking mutants were ready to join the Foot Clan as its newest members and solidify their place in TMNT lore. Finally, in TMNT issue number 115, Tokka and Razar debuted in the canonical comics and faced off against Bebop and Rocksteady for the first time. It is said that TMNT co-creators Peter Laird and Kevin Eastman were not fans of Bebop and Rocksteady at the time, which is why Tokka and Razar were made. Tokka and Razar's inclusion in the TMNT canon was thus further solidified in this issue of the series, but it also brought them face to face with characters who may be viewed as somewhat of their arch-enemies. Issue 115 stories unfolded like this. In this issue, the Turtles come face to face with new and improved versions of both Tokka and Razar. By this point, it should be clear that the two are inseparable and always appear as a pair. However, this time around, the mutants aren't a threat to the Turtles and instead help the Turtles fight another iconic TMNT villain duo, Bebop and Rocksteady. The issue is set in the backdrop of the crime-fighting Turtles doing their best to protect Mutant Town from a devastating future. It picks up from issue number 114, where the Splinter Clan had rescued the three villains, Karai, Koya, and Bludgeon, and the Turtles were then tasked with tracking down two new mutants on the scene, Tokka and Razar. The new and improved versions of Tokka and Razar that we see in this issue are terrifying, for the lack of a better word. They are easily twice the size of what we saw in the 1991 film and look drastically more ferocious. Tokka specifically has razor-sharp claws and a shell filled with massive spikes that make him look like a small dinosaur. His beak is also extremely sharp, and inside his mouth are rows of spiky teeth that can pulverize stone. Due to his sheer size, Tokka is extremely strong and in unarmed combat would easily defeat his opponent. However, what the comics keep consistent is Tokka and Razar's mental age, depicting them as infants as far as intelligence and cognition are concerned. Thus, we see Tokka and Razar, the two enormous yet underdeveloped juvenile mutants that Karai recently acquired from Hobb, stumbling around the city. Although both appear to be in pretty good shape, they are hopelessly lost and anxious to find Karai, whom they have determined to be their mother ever since she met them and took them in. This circumstance does force the Turtles to search the city for the pair. There wasn't much time to spare in finding Tokka and Razar because, although they aren't the most intelligent mutants around, they are two of the most destructive ones for sure. They managed to find Tokka and Razar, but the two of them, in their crazed and frenzied state, attacked the Turtles ruthlessly. And even with the help of some friends, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are unable to capture or defeat the mutant duo. They are simply too strong, and the Turtles decide to retreat. However, Tokka and Razar seem to be in the mood for violence as they pursue the Turtles and their friends through the streets of Mutant Town. The Turtles then have an ingenious idea. If Tokka and Razar considered Karai to be their mama, leading them to her would be the best way to stop their rampage. They start leading Tokka and Razar to the dojo where an injured Karai is recovering. But as fate would have it, the turtles end up in the path of more of Karai's lieutenants, including Bebop and Rocksteady, two of their most infamous enemies. A three-way confrontation ensues: the turtles, Tokka and Razar, and Karai's soldiers led by Bebop and Rocksteady. And if we know anything about Bebop and Rocksteady, they are always eager to fight. Leonardo then realizes that he could simply FaceTime Karai and make her talk to Tokka and Razar, calming them down, but in the chaos, the phone flies out of his hand and one of Karai's lieutenants pockets it. Bebop and Rocksteady then try to assure the turtles that they are more than enough to take down Tokka and Razar, and a fight ensues. Tokka and Razar initially face Bebop and Rocksteady, who managed to capture the crazed mutant duo without using deadly force, at least until the mutated animals fight back. As Tokka and Razar have previously demonstrated, they possess greater ferocity than their innocent demeanor would suggest. They make a bloody mess of Bebop and Rocksteady, tearing through their flesh and giving them black eyes. However, they are quickly defeated once more as Bebop and Rocksteady pull out their machine gun and chainsaw, realizing that Tokka and Razar are too strong to be defeated barehanded. The turtles watch the fight with concern for Tokka and Razar as they realize that Bebop and Rocksteady will not stop until they kill the childish mutants, presumably to establish dominance. Karai is the only one who could stop Bebop and Rocksteady from killing the other pair of oversized mutants. Finally, in the end, the turtles are successful in getting the phone back. With Karai finally on FaceTime, she is able to control Tokka and Razar's irrational rage, calming them down. The turtles then take Tokka and Razar back to the dojo to meet their mama, Karai. The turtles also begin constructing a pen outside behind the dojo to house Tokka and Razar. After all, despite their size, they are still infants and need to be taken care of. As the iconic duo face off, leaves Bebop and Rocksteady as the winners, further showing just how ruthless they are, truly earning them the title of the most brutal and terrifying villains in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles universe.
Bit out of line, huh?
What makes Tokka so powerful? Tokka has appeared in many versions and iterations of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles property and has hence had various powers and abilities attributed to him. Producers have also often said that Tokka could be a male or a female depending upon the version, and as far as Tokka's general powers are concerned, Tokka is obviously extremely strong and is seen in the 1991 film as well. Due to his mutant physiology, Tokka has superhuman strength and is able to bend metal objects and lift things as big and heavy as cars with ease. Tokka also has superhuman durability, which is obviously aided by the gigantic snapping turtle shell on its back, which acts as a natural shield. This makes Tokka very tough to harm and injure. Along with having superhuman durability, Tokka also has an insanely good stamina, being able to battle enemies for long periods of time. As far as the 1991 film is concerned, Tokka is not very smart since both Tokka and Razar have the intelligence of an infant. However, in various other iterations, including the 1987 TV series, Tokka has been shown as a perfectly intelligent being. In fact, in some versions, Tokka is known to be highly intelligent as well. Furthermore, it is clear that Tokka has very good senses, especially an amazing sense of smell, since he is able to smell food from miles away. There is a specific version of Tokka that is seen in the 2012 TMNT series, where we see Tokka as a giant monster who was the guardian of the last piece of the Heart of Darkness. This Tokka particularly has various different powers. He is able to breathe fire and is huge in size, even being speculated as the strongest character in the 2012 series as far as raw brute strength was concerned. This Tokka could fly as well, along with being highly intelligent and having healing factors and abilities. Like other versions, this Tokka also had great durability and stamina, along with having super sharp senses. Tokka is a fun character with many versions and variations in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles universe. It is easy to see why and how the character quickly became a fan favorite, coupled with his partner in crime, Razar. They are villainous and strong, but at the same time, goofy enough to sort of melt your heart. Well, what do you guys think about Tokka? Tell us your thoughts in the comments section below. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one, and be safe. Thanks, everyone.